Good afternoon. This is Hotsports reaching you from the National Stadium in Lagos. Of course, many years ago, this stadium was the venue of very crucial qualifying matches for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And it is a weekend of a crucial qualifier for the Super Eagles, no doubt. They must win today in Congo if they will get into the fight for the ticket to get to the Next Nations Cup as defending champions. Well, the program this week promises to be very entertaining as usual.
Hotsports cranks up the heat this Saturday with fresh sports news and incisive analysis backed by exciting visuals. Hotsports, your unique source of sport information, education and entertainment, inimitably delivered via hot, scorching argument where no one blinks. Don't miss it.
There's total commitment and concentration, which is the intensity of the training yesterday was high. So if we can keep that level going today, tomorrow, up to Saturday, I think we'll come out good.
The spirit is high, and then we know how important these two games are to us, and we'll do everything to win the two games.
It was a large gathering at the National Stadium Swan Secretariat on Wednesday as sports writers came out to vote in the Lagos Swan Exco elections. At the end of the voting, Fred Edore was returned as chairman of Lagos Swan after an overwhelming victory. Edore speaks on his new vision to improve on the welfare of sports journalists.
No, first of all, we need to create a happy people. You know, it is a happy people that will give you quality outputs. You understand? I mean, I'm aware, everybody knows that the issue is all over the place. It's a journalist, they take this, they take that, and all sorts. You also go back to their working places, they say they're owing some of them 10 months, 6 months, 8 months, and all that. So obviously, you see people that are not living too good. We need to make sure that we put things in place that will make them feel at least a little comfortable in their living. And when that is done, or in the process of that, we also have to look at training. Like we said, we have a lot of young people in the profession now. You know, they are zealous, they are very interested, but we need to train them and make sure that we improve on their quality.
Also elected as vice chairman was Chisom Mbono of Super Sports, who also expressed confidence in the vision of the new Swan Exco.
First of all, let me say thank you to my colleagues for having the faith in me to give me this mandate, and hopefully at the end of our tenure in 3 years, we hope to have moved this association 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 steps further. But for me, I'm all about capacity building. That's very, very important to me, very key. That was one of the main reasons I decided to come to Swan and see what I can contribute. For me, we have to train our colleagues, we have to train our members, especially the younger ones. The older ones have done well over the past. The younger ones need to be more professional in what they do, and hopefully we should be able to build them, their capacity to build their ability to great reportage. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on, especially in the next 3 years.
Iman Joko of the Sun newspaper, who was re-elected as Swan Secretary, also speaks on the new Swan Exco.
So far, I think the last 3 years have been quite remarkable in terms of achievement. We're looking forward to even a greater, tenure in terms of achievements. We still have a lot to do, and we want to pay particular attention and give priority to the welfare of our members.
Others are Silverbirds Niro Adesonya, Assistant Secretary, and the Sun's Monica Ihiakam, Treasurer.
Well, we're looking forward to a transparent and a very accountable Swan. We just hope to continue from where we left off. We have always proven that we have what it takes to actually move this association to greater heights. And with what we have seen so far and the election today, it has proven that we are the popular choice, and we're going to continue to do that and ensure that Lagos Swan is taken to the heights that it truly deserves to be.
We should look forward to seeing a unified Swan. Let there be love, let there be peace, let there be unity, let there be vibrancy. I want that vibrancy to come back to Lagos Swan. Lagos Swan usually was the first, let me say, the pace setters in sports reporting in Nigeria. And that is what I want us to bring back to this association with this tenure now.
Well, on the main issue on Hotsports today, we look at the Africa Cup of Nations. Of course, the Confederation of African Football have decided to go ahead with the Nations Cup. And of course, former host Morocco have been punished for backing out of the hosting of the Nations Cup due to the effect of the ravaging Ebola disease in West Africa. On the program today, we ask, is CAF's decision to go ahead with the Nations Cup next year a step in the right direction?
Let's now join producer Ufomo Susu as he speaks to very notable names in sports journalism: Felix Awogo of Super Sports, football columnist Segun Agbede, sports broadcaster Charles Anazado, and editor of Complete Football Dare Esson.
They've said they will come out with a name. To be honest, it's a very difficult situation. CAF is in the quagmire. It's not about CAF hosting it in their offices in Egypt. It's about a country who has the political will and the medical infrastructure to withstand any. I'm not saying there will be Ebola in those countries. People will come with Ebola. There's a lot of stringent measures, but are they really ready? It's more of psychology than any other thing. So Ghana had actually come out to say they will want to host. South Africa said they will want to host, but they're all stepping a little back. They're undecided whether they really want to, because it's not really about you, the federations wanting to go. It's also about a political decision of the government of the day of those countries to say go ahead and do it. So when you say government should not interfere in sports, government do have a major stake. You cannot host without the government's approval. The government of the day in any country needs to first of all give the backing to the federation to be able to host. I know Nigeria has a point that yes, we would love to host, but the government says no, it's an election year. There are a lot of intricate issues that really will have to take. It's a major decision. It's not something the federation will do alone. CAF is in a very difficult situation. They can host the Cup of Nations in their offices in Cairo. So which country is really willing? Because they would have announced immediately the reserve country who has actually bid it. So it's a very difficult situation at this point.
I do think so. You see, I know that Morocco is competing in a rock and a hard place. I mean, think about their people's interests and about the competition. But the truth of the matter is that Ebola has basically been isolated to some particular areas in West Africa. That's Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. And I'm sure that those countries are not even going to qualify anyway. So I think there was a bit of overreaction from the Moroccan authorities. And let's call a spade a spade. I'm not too sure whether North Africans really regard themselves as proper Africans anyway. So you never know whether there was an element of xenophobia in their decision.
So you support the Nations Cup going ahead?
Yes, I do. I think it should go ahead. I think all appropriate measures should be put in place. But yeah, I don't see any reason why not. I mean, it's sponsorship based. The agreements in place. So CAF is in a very difficult position. Yeah. I think it should go ahead. Sport should be sport. And I do think with take Nigeria for example. I mean, 2 or 3 months ago we were in a panic in Nigeria, but thanks to the courageous efforts of some particular healthcare workers, some of whom actually lost their lives to stem the tide, Nigeria is a Ebola free today.
With the situation now, there seems to be an impromptu arrangement. Will this take the shine of the tournament?
Well, it probably would, because I for one was really looking forward to going to Morocco. Never been there. I hear it's a very beautiful place. It's definitely bound to, because so many countries that will join. I hear South Africa was steps aside, Ghana as well. So we're not even sure who's going to host it. It's basically good to do so, but what can we do? At least Nigeria is battling tooth and nail to qualify, so it shows that there's still some form of the preserve tournament. It's just a pity. Ebola was a very, very unfortunate incident, and I feel that the rest of the world did not react quickly enough to come to the help of Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone to help them combat the disease at source.
Do you think for CAF there would have been this idea of maybe shifting ground a little, just find a middle ground to rectify things with the former host?
Well, Morocco apparently was saying they were ready to host the 2016. But as I said, Morocco is going to head to host the FIFA World Cup Championship. So what are they saying? Are they saying that, fans from all over the world are going to attend that because fans of Real Madrid, for instance, are worldwide based, not necessarily Spanish. So you could have Real Madrid fans who can afford that from Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Liberia. Will they stop them from coming in? So you can't have your cake and eat it, or you can't. I think there's a mild form of hypocrisy going on with Morocco. You are willing to host one tournament, but you are not willing to host the other.
Finally, going through the narrow and cramped road to qualification again for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. If they qualify, do you think Stephen Keshi should get a new contract?
To be honest with you, I'm going to be consistent in this. I've been calling for Stephen Keshi to step aside from after the World Cup. I was very unimpressed with what I saw Nigeria house in Brazil. I'm very, very unimpressed with all our games, maybe except against Argentina, which we still lost anyway. I think his style of play is not improved. I cannot understand the usurpation of the powers of the NFF by the presidency in reinstating him. But as I said, it's a big, big if. We'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. If we don't qualify, then he does have a leg to stand on. If we beat Congo today and beat South Africa next week, then maybe he might have a case. It's there.
Charles, we don't know, in a dicey situation for the Super Eagles now, going through the cramped and narrow road to qualification again. In case, we don't know yet, if we qualify, should Keshi get a new contract?
Well, it's a difficult question to answer, really. If we qualify, for a man who won us the Africa Cup of Nations after 19 years of waiting, I really think that Keshi deserves a lot more than what we are giving to him. We do realize, even though some people might not want to say it, but he's faced a lot of difficulties from some board members of the Nigeria Football Federation who've decided to make his work a little bit difficult, which is the major reason why he resigned his appointment back in South Africa when the Cup of Nations came to a close. If we qualify going forward, for the sake of continuity, for the sake of building a national team that we're all eventually going to be very proud of, which I believe that we are proud of today. Yes, I believe Keshi deserves to get a new contract because the truth is, no matter how you look at it, a man who's on ground, I'm talking here about a local man, if I might use the term, knows better the mentality of the players, understands the psyche of the players. If you walk away from Keshi, who are you going to bring? Are you going to bring a foreigner who begins all over again, who starts to build a new national team? Are we not tired of rebuilding all of the time? Let's lay down a solid structure. And that structure starts with the man who won you the Africa Cup of Nations for the first time in a very long time. I think he deserves a new contract by virtue of what he's done with the national team. If you're going to get a foreign coach, which is what the NFF are currently stepping up to, then he should be a man who knows his onions, a man who's worthy of that position as national team coach of the Super Eagles. So that brings the question, who can we afford? Are we going to get a journeyman from Portugal, a journeyman from one of the eastern countries? We need a man who has a name, who already has a credential that we can all say is worthy of sitting in the position as a coach of the Super Eagles. But can we pay the person? Do we have the money? Look at Russia. They appointed Fabio Capello as coach of the Russian team. $11 million a year. Now the Russians are claiming they can't pay those sort of fees anymore. Are we going to fall back in that same situation if it need be at the end of the day? So I really think that Keshi should retain his position. He's done well for us as a nation, and there's no better way to show appreciation than continuation. And I think he should stay as a coach.
Charles, we look at CAF's decision to go ahead with the Nations Cup next year. Is that decision a step in the right direction?
That's another difficult question to answer. I mean, we're all aware of the dreaded virus, that we're fighting, Ebola, and Morocco stating very clearly, by virtue of advice from their health ministry, that look, we can't host this thing because we're not able to cater for the number of people that will come into the nation, and they're protective of their people. That's a government that is caring, that shows concern for their people. When you look at it from that angle, yes, you might say that Morocco have every right to call for a postponement. But when you look at it from the angle of CAF, who've never had a tournament postponed, and they say that if they start this, it might set a precedent and others will follow suit. There are good arguments coming from both sides, there are. But do we have any nation that is ready on standby to host the Cup of Nations? There's talk about Angola, there's talk about Algeria, Ghana, but realistically I think maybe Algeria or Angola can adequately host it. it's really very difficult from a side of humanitarian. Being a humanitarian, yes, you would say postpone it. But being practical and sitting on the side of CAF, who want their nation's cup never to falter, then you'd say, let's go ahead and find another host. It's, as an observer, it would be hard for me to say that this is what should be done. But for the sake of maybe continuity, for the sake of a tournament in itself, not to allow foreign bodies like UEFA tell us what to do, which Michel Platini did a couple of weeks ago. I think I stand by CAF. If there's any other nation that is willing to take up that responsibility, then let's go ahead. If they can guarantee, the safety of people that will come to watch the Cup of Nations, then I think we should go ahead.
No doubt. Now, CAF is in a tight corner, forced to go into a very impromptu arrangement. Is this going to take the shine off the tournament?
It might. I mean, some notable personalities, African footballers, Enyama, George Weah, Alex Song, have called for the postponement of this tournament. If it goes on, I don't know, here we are guessing. I'm not saying it will happen, but there could be possibilities of the big names not wanting to attend the tournament and feign whatever reasons they can find. It might take the shine away, but moving forward, I think CAF standing their ground will also make a statement. So I really also stand behind CAF. I think we should just go on ahead. If the big names don't come, then all well and good, but a statement would have been made by CAF.
So you are not in the school of thought that believes maybe CAF should have shifted ground a little, maybe find a middle ground, maybe a slight postponement of about 6 months to allow the host continue with the tournament.
If you're shifting ground, that means you played. Morocco suggested July of this year or January of next year. Let's say it holds in July. The season will just be about to start in Europe the next month. And we know that there are pre-season matches with all of these club sides. How many of these notable club sides will want to let go of their stars to go and play the Cup of Nations in the month of June? Now, once again, we'll be saddled with the war of club versus country. And that doesn't augur well for African football. So I'm sure CAF would have thought about all of these. And this is also what I would think about. And I would say let's stick with January, February, which has always been the date, and let's just move on. If we don't have our big stars turning up, then all well and good, but we'll just continue with what we know is ours as African people. I think we should start showing respect to our tournaments, and once again, I think I will stand behind CAF, no doubt.
Well, with me on hotsports is Dari. So Dari, we're talking about CAF's decision to go ahead with the Nations Cup in a few months from now. Is it a step taken in the right direction?
I want to believe so, especially for one important reason. Well, I won't call it reason, for one important factor, and that is that if Morocco could go ahead and host the FIFA World Club competition, then I don't see any reason why they cannot host the AFCON. They said they were talking about the number of spectators that will follow the World Class Club and those for the Nations Cup. For me, that's neither here nor there. This is Africa. And the poverty level in Africa is so high that apart from the journalists that will travel, you hardly see individuals that will follow their teams, especially those that are far from Morocco. Let me even take Nigeria, where I would say the poverty level is that low. A lot of people will not go, because one, they don't have the money, then two, you need to get visas to get to this country. So you can screen them at the point of getting the entry visas, at your local embassies. So for me, they have no excuse, no reason.
Would you say all this happening at the last moment in terms of the impromptu arrangement, will it not take the shine off the tournament?
I don't think so. It depends on the next host. If, for example, although I learned Ghana and South Africa are not interested, but if it goes to Ghana, for example, or it goes to South Africa, South Africa will have been the best host anyway, because they have everything ready. It's a ready-made, they have ready-made facilities for the competition. If it goes to Ghana, I would say they have a ready-made facility, but they have a country that, that is not poverty-stricken. I mean, you see beautiful streets, you see beautiful roads, and that's what we have to the glamour of the competition. So I don't think so. It depends on the host nation. If they take to a country like Mali, for example, which I'm not even sure of because I'm not sure those ones are ready, you need to take it to countries that can host at the last minute, and South Africa is one of them. I want to believe Nigeria, because of our nature, is one of them, because it's an opportunity for the guys to get money. Then Ghana, any of the North African countries, I don't think you take any shine of it. I don't think so.
There is a school of thought that says CAF would have found a middle ground, maybe try to adjust and maybe give the host some few months to see if they can reconsider.
If FIFA did not do that for its competition, I don't think CAF should do that, because it will devalue that competition. Because people are already aware that the World Class competition is holding in December, and it's in Morocco, it's in Marrakesh. So the next one that will have been the African Cup of Nations will be next month. And we are talking about this Ebola. Ebola is being curtailed virtually in all the countries in Africa now. And we are still talking about January. We have December there. So by the time you get to January, it will be like a zero certificate for countries either though with Ebola problems, apart from Sierra Leone, Liberia, and those ones are not coming to the Nations Cup. It's only Guinea that has a slight chance of coming to the Nations Cup. And for me, they can even do a business with Guinea, please, because of what is happening now. Even if you qualify, we will not go. CAF can do that, maybe through the back door. You don't need to make noise about it. You do it through the back door and don't let them come. Apart from those three countries, which other country are we talking about? Mali just has this case. Even the US, there's Ebola. In Germany, there's Ebola. So are you saying the clause coming from Germany, okay, Real Madrid won the Champions League. They are coming for the World Class competition. A priest died of Ebola in Spain. So it's also an Ebola country. So why are we discriminating against ourselves in Africa? Why?
Finally, Dari, we come back to our struggle, moving through the tight ropes to get qualification again. If everybody is saying if, it's not a matter of probability. If, in case, Keshi manages to qualify, should he get a new contract?
Well, that's not for me to say really. But from what is on ground, it's automatic. Because the powers that be want him. And if he manages to get us to Morocco, to the AFCON 2015, then I think we should just allow him to continue. Because that means he has learned some lessons. If he can win in Congo and beat South Africa here, that means some things have changed in the team. That means the luck that he has been using, up till the luck deserted him, has come back. So we should ride on that luck. That's my own thinking. Although the powers that be want him, and the best thing we can do is just to support it.
Hot Sports cranks up the heat this Saturday with fresh sports news and incisive analysis, backed by exciting visuals. Hot Sports, your unique source of sport information, education and entertainment, inimitably delivered via hot, scorching argument where no one blinks. Don't miss it.
Well, we have been looking at the main issue on the program today. If CAF's decision to continue with the Nations Cup next year was a step taken in the right direction. Of course, we'll leave it to you on our social media network, because you have been contributing to this issue. We're just listening to what you have to say on the issue this week.
On today's issue, Ajayi Osuolale says, what a decision by CAF, which prefers competition and above the health of the people. Maybe Liberia will offer to host the competition. Stephen Anthony Solomon thinks it's a right step in the right direction. If Morocco refuses to host due to Ebola concerns, I believe some countries will be willing to host. Even I know my Niger will be willing just in case Congo spoils the party on Saturday. God forbids anyway.
Well, after those opinions from the People's Parliament, that is how far we can go on hotspots this week. We have been reaching you from the National Stadium in Lagos. Have a very wonderful weekend.